Hey game designers, in this video we're going to teach you how to do the quick gift of how to make your eye moving animation. So what we learned from our last one is that we can create masks that allow us to move the object within the mask. But the issue is that the mask itself is static inside of Illustrator. But in Adobe Animate, our eyes could be moving. So we're going to teach you how to do that with this assignment. So again, this is the creating animation with vectors. So you're going to submit a GIF where your eye is moving while in the animation. So basically, we have an animated mask. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Adobe Animate. And this one does not require your Bitmoji, so you don't have to be worried that you have to do that in order here. So I'm going to click on Adobe Animate. And I'm going to just do a simple high-def project. I'm going to click on Create New. We're going to click on Full HD. I'm going to click Create. So the first thing I want you to do is we're just going to use two shapes. We're not going to go two shapes here, maybe three shapes. We'll use probably three shapes here. I'm going to Control minus, zoom out a little bit. And I just want you to first thing to do is go to Property, go to Dock, and we're going to make this thing green so that we have a green background or any other background. Okay, and I'm going to make only two simple circles, and I'm going to turn it into the shape of an eye. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to make one for my pupil. So I'm going to left-click, drag, hold Shift, hold Alt. Okay, so there is my eyeball. I can actually give it a, I don't know, a white color here, a fill color. I'm not sure it's actually selecting this object. I'm going to click this object right here. So I can go here and go ahead and make it a white object here. Or let's go brown. Let's just choose some shade of brown. So where is shade of brown here? Kind of looks like that. All right, I'm going to click here. Where's my color picker? Okay. So okay, somewhere around there. I think I found a better color. That's brown. Okay, so there we go. We just have a brown circle. And I'm just going to create and start to create a shape of an eye. Now, unfortunately, the pen tool inside of Illustrator, even though it's pretty easy to create a shape of an eye, for whatever reason, it doesn't have a fill color by default. So this is weird because this thing that has no, you can see here, no fill color. So that doesn't actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and Control Z. Okay, so instead, we need to create a new layer. Make sure you create a new layer. This is going to be our eyeball. And the next one is going to be our actual eye shape. So this layer is going to be our eye shape. Okay, and the eye shape needs to be behind the eyeball, but we'll do that in a minute. But instead of using the pen tool, we're going to use the pen tool in combination with a shape tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click an oval here. And I'm just going to make an oval that looks like, I don't know, like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the fill color. Go ahead and use the select tool. And I'm going to change the fill color to white. Now notice that when you create a shape, it automatically creates also a stroke, which is kind of a problem. So I'm going to go here, and you can see here, I can see this little black outline. Go ahead and delete it. So we only have this shape and no outline, because the outline doesn't move with this shape anyway. They're kind of two separate objects. So there's my eye shape. I'm going to go ahead and left-click and drag. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and modify this to make it look like more like an eye. I'll kind of copy the kind of Batman-style type of eyes here. So using my pen tool, hold Control, left-click, you'll see the other paths here. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of this. I'm going to left-click and then left-click to delete some of the knots that I don't need. Okay, and I don't think I even need this, to be honest. I'm going to delete this one. And before I delete this one, I'm going to go ahead and hold Alt, left-click, drag to drag out the handles. And now I'm going to delete this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and modify this. Hold Control, left-click, drag with holding Control. Then holding Alt, I'm going to go ahead and alter the shape of the eye. Kind of go like that. Just go ahead and move it like that. Kind of the Batman looking here. Okay, so there it is. There's my shape. I'm going to left-click, drag it, with my select tool, I'm going to change the order. And now we have a eye and eye shape. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and animate this, right? So we're going to move the eye. So that's easy, right? The eyeball itself can just add a couple keyframes. So I'm going to go make it look to the left and make it look to the right and then make it go back to the middle. So I'm going to go here on frame 5, insert a keyframe, go to frame 15, insert a keyframe, and then go to frame 20 and insert a keyframe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and move this eye. I'm going to go ahead and extend this one out as well. I'm just going to insert frames because I'm not doing keyframes for the eyes or for the eye shape yet, just for the eyeball. And I'm going to go to each frame and go ahead and left click and move this thing over here. Okay, I'm going to go back to frame 15 and move it over here. And now you can see the ball just kind of go back and forth. Now let's go ahead and add some tweening here. I'm going to left click, drag all these 4 spans. And just do, I don't know if it matters if any of the tweening I do. I think shape tweening works fine. Let's try shape tweening. And let's just see if this shape tweens once it is done. Right, so the eye moves just fine. Okay, now the eye shape, we're going to actually not just use it as a mask. We're going to actually have the eye kind of blink while this eye thing is happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this shape. And you have to think about, just like inside Illustrator, this shape is going to serve as the background and serve as the mask. And actually is going to serve as the black outline as well. So this one shape is going to act as 3 things. And when you want to refer to the same shape to do multiple things, you're going to turn it into a symbol. So I'm going to left click, convert it into a symbol. I'm going to convert it as a type of graphic. Make sure it says graphic, not movie clip. So when you guys do that, I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to call it by, it looks like my left eye, or right eye. It's going to look like the character's right eye. So right eye symbol. Okay? And the right eye symbol is going to be found in your library, now that you have it here. And you already have one already kind of on the eye shape layer, but you have the right eye symbol inside of it. So I'm going to create 2 more layers. I'm going to create another layer. I'm going to drag that layer above the eyeball. This is going to act as my eye mask. And I'm going to make another layer. I'm going to drag it below eye shape. And this is going to be my black outline. Okay, so basically what I want, I'm going to hide these 2 right now, right, is that I want to put a mask that's on top of the eyeball that overlaps perfectly with the eye shape to act as a mask. I'm going to use the exact same shape. So you can see I'm going to left click and drag onto our scene. So again, this is, and make sure I put it on the correct number here. I'll undo that. I'll go here. I'm going to left click and drag it into our scene on frame number 1, right? And I'm going to basically take this, I'm going to stick it right on overlapping the eye shape. Now, when you overlap inside Adobe Animate, you'll see like those double lines, horizontal and vertical, kind of cross each other. So you know exactly on top of one or the other. And again, these 2 are exactly the same animation. So whatever I do to the eye symbol will affect both the eye mask and the eye shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and mask. To mask, you simply right-click, go to Mask, and it will mask the thing that's underneath it. So now you can see the eye being masked by the eye shape. Okay. Now we're doing the same thing with the black one. So the black outline. So again, I'm going to kind of lock the eye shape. So I'm not messing with the eye shape. I'm going to go to the black outline. I'm going to use the same symbol. Left click, drag. I'm going to place it directly on top. Double crosshair. And this time I'm going to use my scale tool and I'm going to scale it a little bit larger. So I'm holding shift so that it's centered and a little bit larger. And what I'm going to do with this shape particularly, I'm going to go to the properties window, is I'm going to give it a color effect. I'm going to click on here, make it tint, and make it a black tint. And it will act as my black outline. Okay, so I have now this eye that's animated and it's working, but it's not really animating. The mask itself is not animating. And that's kind of the whole point of this lesson. So I'm going to go into the eye mask itself, or just any of them actually. I'm going to click on any of the eye symbol. If you right click, you can actually edit the symbol itself. So I'm going to edit the symbol itself. Now notice before I click on edit symbol that my animation goes from 0 to 20. So I'm going to go ahead and do another animation that's also 0 to 20 in the symbol itself. So I'm going to left click on here, right click, edit symbol. And now I'm in the symbol that represents all 3 layers. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control plus, I think, Control 0 or Control plus. Control plus is, I think, zooming. Control minus is, I think, Control 0 is kind of to center on the object that you're selecting. So here's the eye shape. And the cool thing is I can actually create animation by changing the shape. So you'll see here. I'm going to go to frame 10. I'm going to insert a keyframe. And on frame 20, insert a keyframe. And on frame 10, I'm going to make it blink its eyes. Okay, so frame 1 and frame 20 look the same. Frame 10 is going to be the one I'm going to alter. I'm going to use my pen tool, hold Control, left click, and I'm going to go ahead and make it look like he's closing his eyes, or blinking. So I'm going to take this, holding Control, take this knot and kind of drag it downward because your upper eyelids blink further down than your white one. I'm going to blink like that, hold left click, drag this one a little bit higher, not that it crosses. Make sure you don't cross your other one. Something like that. Okay, and I'm going to take this one, go something like that. Okay, so it looks like I'm blinking, and you don't blink all the way, but pretty close. Okay, so you can see here, it looks like that, then blinks, and goes back here. And again, you just left click and drag all 3 spans, right click, use shape tuning, and voila, you have a blinking eye. Now you can see like at some frames, like the shape looks kind of weird like that. So you can go in there and kind of check out what your handles look like. You can go back and again, adjust your handles. If you think your handles are too aggressive or whatnot, maybe my handles are a little bit too aggressive. So I'm gonna go like that. Okay, and maybe that will make it less likely to cross. So again, it looks like this one's moving too much. So maybe I'm gonna locationally, that one's right there. Kind of stays in the same spot. That one, and that one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and click back on this and see if I can adjust it just a little bit so that it doesn't look like it's kind of warping too much. That doesn't like kind of get janky right around here, right? So it looks like it almost has like an extra knot. This one has 2 knots, that one has 2 knots. Well, not quite perfect, but close enough. So you see here that I'm blinking. I'm going to go ahead and go out of my my right eye symbol, and look what happens when we animate. Both the black and the white layer get animated, and the mask as well. And that's it, folks. We're done. So now that we have a blinking eye, you're showing me that the mask animates, the outline animates, and the white layer animates. I'm going to File, Export as a animated GIF, and we're going to go ahead and click Save, and go ahead and submit this into Google Classroom. Okay, so this is going to be my animated eye for YouTube. Okay, and go ahead and upload this up. And I'll see you guys in the next video.